When you fight for your limitations, you get to keep them. I'll say that one more time for the people in the back. When you fight for your limitations, you get to keep them. Let's start with what it means to fight for your limitations. If any of the following sounds familiar to you, we're headed in the right direction in uncovering the limitations you've been fighting for. So I'll read out a couple that I often see. One of them being is, I need to have it perfect before I can be visible. Does that resonate? I know that I was fighting for that one for a long time too. The other is, making more money means I'll have to work harder. If I make more money, I'll lose connection with my family or community. Or I'm not the kind of person who just gets what she wants. Or if I slow down or rest, everything that I've built will fall apart. I know that your limitations sound like facts, and I know that they sound like truth because you've been repeating these on loop every single day, every moment possible. That's why your reality is only reflecting what you've been seeing, even though deep down in your heart, you actually want the opposite. Humans, on an average day, think up to 80,000 thoughts on any given day. 80% of those thoughts are negative. And 95% of all the thoughts that you have are the same ones as yesterday. And because you've been running your limitations on loop in your mind every single day, they're not a representation of where you actually want to go. So I'd love for you to sit here right now and reflect and journal on this. What are the limitations that you have been fighting for up to now? What is it that you have been feeding yourself and hypnotizing yourself around as it relates to the big goals that you have? What have you been saying is a limitation as to why you can't have it or why you don't have it already? What is stopping you from having it today or next week or by this time next year? I want you to sit and reflect on those things and make a list of what are all of those limitations that you perceive to be true. And a little later, we'll go down a different series of exercises to help you overcome this. So now we know what limitations could look like in your mind. So the next thing I want to talk about is what is actually happening behind the scenes. What's happening in your mind to make these limiting thoughts feel like truths when they are not. The reason these limitations feel like truth in your mind is because your brain filters everything in your reality based on what you expect and not what you want. And the way that it does that is through our reticular activating system. The RAS, R-A-S, filters all of the information that comes into our mind and makes sure that it fits your existing beliefs. So a practical example of how this comes into play is, take for instance the last time that you went car shopping. Let's say that it was a white Mercedes sedan style. All of a sudden, everything that you saw or everywhere you looked, you would see a white Mercedes parked in a parking lot, a white Mercedes driving right next to you, a white Mercedes dashing by or pulling around the corner. The white Mercedes was always there, just like all of the other cars. It's just that because it was the most recent thing that you were focusing on and you were putting some emotion behind it, like excitement, and it's something that you really wanted, your reticular activating system was doing such a fabulous job that it started to point out all of the white Mercedes in your surroundings, even though they were always there and you never actually noticed them until you put focus on it, and then it was everywhere. So how this relates to the limitations you've been fighting for is, if you expect things to be hard, you're going to always ignore anything and reject any opportunity that feels like it could be too easy to succeed at, because you're going to continue to find reasons and evidence to prove that you are correct in your belief that things have to be hard. In order to get the thing that you want, circumstances have to be hard. Life has to be hard. Like I said earlier, you get what you expect because your mind is never going to prove you wrong. So when we think about becoming more self-aware on the thoughts that are running in our mind and what are the thoughts and images on loop in our mind, this is why mindset work is so important. What we're doing here is really taking an audit and a deep look into what has been taking up space in our mind so that we can observe it with compassion and with love and ask ourselves, are these thoughts and images serving me where I want to go? Is this the ultimate truth? Is this what I truly want to believe? And from there, we can begin to shift those beliefs and shift those thoughts. So why do we cling on to our limitations so hard? Why do we want to protect them, vouch for them, defend them, and want to be right about our limitations? Because because your subconscious mind sees anything that is opposite of what you are fighting for as a threat, because there is safety in familiarity. So even if what is familiar to you is no longer serving you, your mind will believe that anything opposite that is unfamiliar, and unfamiliar means threat and dangerous. What we don't know, we can't see, and we can't protect ourselves from. So it's just easier to keep our limitations because we know what that is all about. We find safety in what's familiar, even if it's not good for us. Your mind is just seeking to keep you safe, and that's an amazing function to have. But when we're really thinking about pursuing our big dreams, our big goals, we know on a logical level that going after our goals is what is best for us. Let me teach you a little bit more about the subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind thinks in pictures and symbols, and it takes everything personally, and it also loves to serve you, and it doesn't process negatives. And most importantly, it will never make you a liar. Our subconscious mind is responsible for 95% of our reality and everything that happens in our external world. So understanding how your subconscious mind functions in relation to helping you achieve your goals is so vital, because once you understand how your mind works, then you've got the upper hand. You can program yourself from the inside out to take confident steps towards the goals that you want to bring into fruition. I want you to take an inventory of what are the limiting stories you've been telling yourself on loop, the limitations that you have been seeing or convincing yourself of. When you think about all of your limitations, what are the pictures and symbols that are coming up in your mind? Take a moment to think about that and take an audit of what those pictures and symbols are and represent. The pictures you put in your mind is in order to what you do want, even though that's not what you actually want. So what's the lesson here? Is feed your mind pictures, symbols, images, illustrations, everything, scenarios of what you actually do want, so that your mind begins to understand that what you want is actually good. And when you think of the thing that you actually want, feel into it, bring emotion into it of how it feels in your body to have it, the joy, the excitement, the celebration, the pride you're going to feel. I want you to practice in the next couple of days switching the images that you have put in your mind from all of the limitations that you perceive will accompany the goals that you want to achieve. And I want you to switch that for all of the positive images, all of the things that could go great in your life, all of the easy ways that your manifestation can come to you. That is going to be the practice for you in the next couple of days. So how do we shift out of this negative loop? What do we do instead? And how do we stop fighting for our limitations and start expanding into the next level identity that we know that we are here to become? I'm going to walk you through very simple steps that you can start incorporating in the next couple of days so that you can stop the limiting loops and start stepping into all of the possibility that is waiting for you if you choose to. The first is awareness, which you've been doing all throughout this video, hopefully contemplating how all of these concepts have been showing up in your life. As you practice self-awareness, I want you to ask yourself, what belief am I fighting for right now? And what story am I repeating that no longer serves me? As you journal on these prompts, I want you to be as honest and raw with yourself. It's just you and your journal. There is no one else reading this. You're not going to submit this to anyone. So this is the perfect time to be as honest and raw as possible about what you believe has been limiting you up to now and what you've been repeating in your mind that you know no longer serves you where you are going. The next thing I want you to do is to look at everything that you've written down, and I want you to ask yourself, what is the actual truth behind these? I want you to challenge each and every one of those and write an opposite truth, an opposite, more beneficial truth. After that, think about people who look like you, who come from similar backgrounds as you, who have created exactly what you want. Take note of those people and see, what is it that made them successful? What do you believe made them successful in getting to where they wanted to go? What beliefs do you think they had to have in order to support them in getting there? What do you believe was required of them to get there? What do you believe they had to overcome in order to get there? And what do you believe their life looks like now? And what is required of them right now that they have everything that they want? The reason for this exercise is the mind needs to see possibility. And the best way to show a possibility, in my experience, has been to find people who look like me, who come from similar backgrounds as me, so that I can prove to myself, if she did it, I can do it too. I know that I'm not alone, and I know that it is possible for me, even though I don't have evidence in my immediate family. And I know that if I model the behaviors of these people, I know that I will get there as well. The next is rehearsing your desired outcome. Visualization and mental rehearsal is key. Your subconscious mind does not know the difference between what is made up and what is actual reality. Because you are putting it in your mind and feeling it in your body, it believes that it's happening right now. The more you rehearse, the more you visualize, and you put feeling behind it, and it feels real in your body to the degree that when you open your eyes, you think, how does my outer reality not yet match what I am feeling? That is when you start to collapse time. That is when you begin to quantum jump. That is when you begin to see the shifts happening immediately. And it is such a beautiful process. So start rehearsing today. Do it every single night before you go to sleep, because that is the best time as you're going to sleep to put into your mind all of the images of the desired outcome. And as soon as you wake up, because of the brainwave states that we are in when we are about to sleep and right as we're waking up, your mind is more open and susceptible to what you are feeding it. So think about your desired outcome, your ideal life, and everything that's in it in detail, and you will see the shifts. And now I want you to think about, after you've done these exercises, is think about the resistance that's coming up, because visualizing what you want and rehearsing what you want is all wonderful, but let's be honest, it doesn't come without resistance. There will always be some type of resistance, and that is data. That is data. That is not a reason to stop. It is not a reason to derail our goals or derail our progress, but it is a key data point in telling us what we are actually believing deep down. And it's a perfect opportunity for us to lean into the resistance and understand, where are we feeling it in our body? Does it have a color? Does it have a sound? Does it have a voice? Sometimes I find personally that when I lean into the resistance that I'm feeling around something big that I want to pursue, I usually hear the voice of my mom as part of my inner dialogue, because she played a key role in dimming my light as I was growing up. So I really had to work throughout my life to reignite that light and feel more confident in stepping into the things that I wanted to step into. So when you think about the resistance that's coming up for you, I want you to sit with it and journal on that more deeply. Like, when was the first instance of you feeling this? Do you feel it anywhere else in your life? Have you felt it before? Is it new or is it familiar? If you need more help in digging into what that resistance is and dissolving those feelings so that you can feel more embodied in the process of pursuing your goals, then send me a message. Let's talk. When you feel that resistance, it is also a data point for what your nervous system is trying to protect you from. Often when we are thinking about calling in a big manifestation, if our body doesn't feel safe holding it, receiving it, and scaling it, then our mind and body will either repel it from ever coming to us, or once we do have it, we will only have it for a short bit of time before our mind and body repels it from us. A great example is money. We all want to earn a lot more money, but many of us don't feel safe to actually hold it in our bank account, even though it's what we actually want. We don't know what it feels like to feel safe seeing a large amount of money in the bank for a large period of time. So if we don't feel safe holding money and sustaining it for a long period of time, what we often find is that we begin to see the spiral of overspending, giving it away, and essentially getting rid of it. But we do it at a subconscious level, so we don't know that we're actually doing that as we are doing it. What happens is, after we have spent all of the money, is when we sit with ourselves and we say, well, where did all my money go? I mean, I had so much of it, and all of a sudden sudden now I'm back to where I started, because where you started is what you actually feel most comfortable with. And everyone has an energetic set point, and your nervous system only feels safe with so much. So in this exercise, I want you to think about what are some of the resistance points that you feel about the goal that you have in mind. And I want you to lean into it and explore and get curious. What is it that you're feeling? Where are you feeling it? What does it look like? What does it sound like? And what could potentially feel dangerous to you as you think about calling in your big manifestation? And this is all the work that I do with my one-on-one clients. It's so exciting. I get to help you reprogram the subconscious, rewire the limiting beliefs, and embody the next level version of you. Because one thing is to go after our big dreams and manifestations, but the other is when we actually receive it, feeling so empowered to be able to hold it, to sustain it, to scale it, and to feel safe having the amount of success that you are destined for and that you were put on this earth to experience. So I would love to help you. If you are interested, send me a comment and let's explore how we might be able to work together. So the next time that you catch yourself saying, I can't do this because, I want you to pause and ask yourself, am I fighting for my limitation or am I expanding my identity? If you know of someone who needs to hear this too, I want you to share this with them, because the more aware we all become, the more success we can all call in from a place of ease and abundance, and just from an innate knowing that our goals are meant for us. Friend, I know that you get to rewrite your story, you get to rewire your mind, and you get to receive it all without the struggle. I'm cheering for you and I'm here for you, and thank you for watching.